In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my Ronnie Q. They are rare and they are few who can compare with Ronnie Q. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for Ronnie Q. They are rare and they are few who can compare with Ronnie Q. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for Ronnie Q. Ronnie Q. It's time for Ronnie Q. Ronnie Q. It's time for Ronnie in the morning while I'm driving. Ronnie, I really come alive when it's time for Ronnie Q. I listen to my Ronnie. Ronnie, I listen to my Ronnie. It's time for Ronnie Q. Take a seat and go meet Ronnie. Sweet, 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 sweet Ronnie. No day complete without my Ronnie. She can't be beat. Sweet, sweet Ronnie.
Good morning, no other way. 1988, it's good to have you this morning. Please hit the like button on your way in. Bernice, Grand Rising, Madison, Grand Rising to you. Hey y'all, I just came in to continue the news, the news that you can use. So, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Who had a great weekend this weekend? I know I did. So I hope you guys had a great weekend as well. Did you guys, hey DC Kool-Aid, Grand Rising, did you guys enjoy the wedding financed by people who can't get paid a decent wage to deliver Amazon packages? Did you enjoy seeing those boulders on that bony bitch's hand amassed by people who deliver for Amazon, having to urinate in their water bottles so they can get their scheduled workload done on time so they can get a full pay, which does not allow them any benefits? Did you guys enjoy the wedding over in Venice? I think I have the let me I enjoyed the protests. I definitely enjoyed the protests of the wedding. So they had to change their venue. Jeff Bezos, I'm talking about. They had to change their venue for the wedding because people were just so disgusted with them. So I'm equally disgusted. I'm equally disgusted. So we see where the merits of these people who, I got to have Amazon. I can't do without getting my packages delivered. Of course, there are some people who places like Walmart have bought out all the mom and pop shops, and there is no shopping in their areas. And I'm talking about you lazy motherfuckers. I'm talking about you motherfuckers who act like having Amazon deliver your package is a flex. I'm talking about you motherfuckers. Okay. So do you see where trying to flex on the motherfucker? If you thought getting an Amazon package delivered to you was a flex, you must not didn't see them gold those diamond boulders that was sitting on Sanchez's fingers on both hands. The wedding ring looked like uh a big pack of bubblicious bubble gum that was chewed up and rolled into a round ball. It was that huge. So is that enough for you being lazy when you see the effects that you have on Target when you don't shop at Target? But no, God forbid I have to get up and actually go shopping for myself. Fuck those Amazon drivers. Fuck the workers. Madison said, I certainly did. I think she means she had certainly did have a good morning. Not the other way. Welcome to the channel. Yes, welcome to the channel, Very Carrie. I just saw that you went live this morning. Uh, if you guys have not gone over to Very Carrie's link, she went live earlier than I went live. I'm gonna drop her link in the chat. She wakes you up with brain teasers. I think we can all use those in the morning. Let me drop Very Curious link in the chat. So instead of instead of people like the Kardashians and Usher, uh, being somewhere, uh, understanding that I don't know. I don't know. At the same time, Diddy's on trial for fiddling with people who are unwilling or unable to say no to him. Usher is sitting up at the a billionaire's wedding. Uh, just some over the top bullshit. But I guess that's the price of doing business. I guess hey, if you gone through all of that that he has alleged gone through, I guess these are the fruits of your labor. Eh, what is this? What is this? And so we're gonna act like some people are not willing to go through uh, a lot of things for a different position in life, a different station in life. Mm. So that's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Anything? Okay. So speaking of a new station in life, the big beautiful bill, they are spending 20 hours trying to pass the big beautiful bill. You guys are aware of that, I'm sure. They read the whole 900 and some pages of the bill, first of all, because you remember in the House, Marjorie Taylor Greene and who else was that? Some other, uh, I think Mike Lee from Utah. They signed the bill, and then they came back and said, "Oh, I didn't realize that was in the bill. I'm mad about this. I didn't realize they had snuck that in the bill." Because they hadn't read the bill. So they did first thing first to take that plausible deniability away from any senator to be able to sign on to this monstrosity of a mess and then come back and tell you, oh, I didn't know that was in there. They snuck it in there. So So they eliminated any possibility of that happening. So they read the bill, and now they're in discussion about this bill. Now, Rand Paul has said he is not voting for the bill. Oh, what is I think it's Tom Massey said he's not voting for the bill, and he's not even running again for reelection uh, because he uh, 45, 47 has been taking shots at him, saying that they need a better senator in his district, and he's going to put up people to primary him. He's pulling the Elon Muskrat call for people to come out and primary him. So instead of him saying, "No, I'm not voting for this because I'm protecting the people who put me in office, and this is why I'm not voting on this trash ass bill." He said none of that. He said, "No, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna go sit my old rich ass down. I didn't got enough money out of my position, and I don't need the to rub elbows with anybody. My ass has been in here for decades, and I'm old shit. The only thing I want to rub is my ass up against a lounge chair." So he never stood up for the people. Well, I guess he did stand up by not voting, but he's not standing up for himself. So um, there's that. So hopefully that seat will go to a Democrat. So what is in that bill? What is in that bill that Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't read? What is in that bill that Marjorie Taylor Greene is supposedly so mad about? It's the fact that states will not be able to make any regulations or changes to AI. It can only be done at the federal level. So all of these states' rights have been ripped away for AI. Does it make you wonder why? Does that make you wonder why? We talked the last two times I was here how they have made the C, I think they're the CCOs of four data companies. What is their ranking? Right under generals. They have put them in the service. They gave them rankings right under a general. These people who have never been to basic training. And they got rankings right under general, and they work at AI for Meta. They work for AI Palantir, and that what is that? Steve Altman. His what is the name of his AI? These are all people who work in AI, and they have rankings in our services right under a general. What has Palantir's AI been successful in doing? Palantir, I played you the clips, but some people are a little bit more interested in other minutia. Some people they really like mess, so the mess may be their head splattered over their fucking living room. That may be the mess that they are not aware. They may be the Marjorie Green of living life in America because they didn't read that part. Your mess may be your body splattered on the sidewalk after a tank roll over your ass. You may be the mess. You may be the real mess. That may be the real mess that is coming for you. So, uh, Palantir, what have they been instrumental in? Palantir, I showed you the CEO who said that they want to be involved in military tactics and they can support the military. How have they been? What have they proven that they could support the military in doing thus far? They have had some, uh, they may call it success. They have had some success in helping military installations. Let's look at what they have done for Israel. Look what they have done for the war that's going on over in Israel. as Israel is looking to seek out all of the what are they, Hamas. They can't leave until Hamas is taken away. They got to root out Hamas, and it's not their fault that they're unaliving children at a high cliff. It's Hamas's fault because they're using them as human shields. But what they don't want to tell you is this AI that they're getting from Palantir is also rooting out people that the humans can't find, and they're not looking for Hamas. They're just looking for bodies. And then what happens when they find those bodies huddled and hiding? They alert Israel where the bodies are, and then that's a higher body count. So this is who's going to be working in our Defense Department. Palantir, the body snatchers, the body snatchers are going to be working in our administration. So what does it have to do with you? How does that put your head splattered over your living room? How does that splatter your head over the same way it splatters anybody's head over your living room? Your government has already okayed that the United States Marines can be on the streets in every single state to quell protests. To quell protests. So, for instance, I was just thinking when this budget goes into effect and these dummies wake the fuck up, when these dumb people who just love mess so much, when they finally wake up and decide to talk on something, they are not going to have any tools to talk on something. It's just going to be more what I think, what I feel, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Type of talk going on. The same. The same talk that goes on in the beef sector all the time. All the time. Somebody got to help me understand. Somebody really has to help me understand how somebody gives somebody the time of day that tells you that they wouldn't have anything to do with you or your kind. And you over there laughing and smiling in their face like that shit is cute. Over there laughing and smiling in their face as if that shit is cute. Somebody who wouldn't even piss on you if you were on fire. And now they twinned up, and you're so stupid that you're over there acting as if anything that motherfucker has to say is smart, intelligent, or cute, because surely that motherfucker has never said anything that was smart or intelligent. God damn. Ugh. Hey T Danielle, how are you, Grand Rising? So, you when you pull your ass out of your head out of the ass of somebody who is disappointed that when you pulled your head out of his ass that you got shit all on your face. Okay, he didn't even want to give you that shit that's on your face when you pull your head out of his ass. Let's be clear. So when you pull your head out of the ass of this motherfucker and you find out how bad the world is around you if this bill goes through, you're gonna maybe then you want to protest. Maybe then I'm not saying that I wanted to protest at all behind this thing that doesn't concern me as far as uh, these immigrants who voted and who marched for him, who voted overwhelmingly for him than the other candidate. Mm-mm. I ain't got nothing. But what I have been noticing is the laws and that have been relaxed during their protests. Do you think that they're just relaxing these laws, overstepping constitutional boundaries for them? That's the test case. We know America don't do nothing but put on the gas once they're able to get away with something. Uh, so we found out that in this last ruling from the Supreme Court about birthright citizenship, some people have it mixed up that the Supreme Court has struck down birthright citizenship. That is not what they did. What they did was they said that you cannot have a total ban on birthright citizenships. One district court judge cannot make that a a pause on that for the whole nation. However, however, this same Supreme Court didn't feel that way when some local judge down in Texas, when they were court shopping in district shopping courts to bring uh, Republicans' issues to the forefront, to have nationwide bans on them, such as that they called it the abortion drug meta what is it metro metro the abortion, what is it called? Metro metacitral or whatever that abortion pills that you can take. So they took it to that court judge in Texas. Of course, in Texas, nobody's backwards like backwards ass Texans. Look at Jay Wilson and Tracy. Need I say more? Okay, metatriscal is the abortion. They got a nationwide ban on that drug via that judge. But now nationwide bans would be unconstitutional when it's talking about your birthright citizenship. So, are to believe that that's going to also include Melania? Are we also going to believe that that's going to include his children? No, he's not looking for to uh, suspend birthright citizenship for everyone. Um, so, should your black ass be worried? See, in his argument, the thing that should worry you is the fact that he said out of his own mouth, birthright citizenship is not for Hispanics, and that was put in place for black slaves. That was put in place for black slaves uh, when they were uh, when they were born here in the United States. So the Supreme Court ruled that this is their ruling that no court can make a nationwide ban based upon one, two, four, five, seven people suing about the birthright citizenship executive order that he has already put in. So you have a few people who wanted to sue on behalf of that. So you think that if one court order said, hey, that's unconstitutional, why does every person who was born in here, who lives in the United States under birthright citizenship, have to go before a lawyer to be told that that is unconstitutional? Surely, if it's unconstitutional for the one, two, three, five, seven people who have gone to court against this and it has been ruled unconstitutional, surely it's unconstitutional over the whole land. But the Supreme Court said no. You're going to have to all sue individually. If you want to fight this executive order, everyone has to sue individually. What sense does this make? Hey, Candy Cane, what sense does this make? Absolutely no sense. If it's unconstitutional for one, it's unconstitutional for all. Okay, so that is this thing that ruling that we had, and let's let me share the shocking truth uh, about Black women's unemployment rates. Let's delve into this a little bit. I want to share this video with you. Here we go. This is couch politics. Let me share this with you.
The overall use of DEI as a slur, which may be contributing to a lack of.
Hold on, I think I have it too quick. Oh no, it's normal.
Overall use of DEI as a slur, which may be contributing to a lack of hiring of Black women. All of these factors are probably at play. Brookings Institute told Bloomberg that data shows minorities are the first to be put out of work during economic downturns. Duh. Perry.
So it is true that Black women get a higher level of master's degrees, bachelor's degree, terminal degrees at the doctoral level, et cetera. And that often doesn't relate to the earnings that we get when we go into the labor market. So Black women.
Because they have no problem making these people with this education work on somebody who just has a associate's degree, much less a bachelor's degree. They won't hire you in the position that you're educated for. They will hire you, but they'll put somebody supervising you who only has a bachelor's degree and could have just gotten that bachelor's degree last year or this spring or something. Let's continue.
Who have a college degree often make less than their white counterparts who have only a high school diploma. So even with that additional education, which sometimes and often comes with things like costly student loans, we're still not seeing that show up in Black women's paychecks.
We see a kind of strategic agenda that's really promoting the dispensability of Black women and ultimately other protected classes in the future.
Use the term.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this segment. A little bit of a change up, but I thought this segment was definitely worth watching and wanted to bring it to you guys. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this, so let me know in the comments.
And I thought that it was worth watching too. So if you're not cognizant on the things that are really affecting Black women and how we live our lives, or are you worried about motherfuckers who wouldn't spit on Black women, you're in the right place.
But let's get right into it, and we'll talk about it.
In recent weeks, hiring has slowed down and the number of people seeking unemployment benefits has risen. But it's even worse for one specific group. The unemployment rate among Black women is rising. According to an Axios analysis of unemployment data, on average, over the past 3 months, the jobless rate for Black women has risen to 5.8%. Now that's up from 5.3% a year ago. The national unemployment rate for all adults is at 4.2%. Now, in comparison, white men have seen a much smaller uptick in their unemployment rate. For white women, the unemployment rate has stayed relatively flat, and Black men have seen their unemployment rate fall slightly. One undeniable factor is the Trump administration's evisceration of the federal workforce. Many of the government agencies that have been crushed by Donald Trump and those disproportionately employed women and minorities. According to ProPublica, the Department of Education, where Black women made up 28% of the workforce, has nearly lost half. That's half of its total staff in just a few months. The Trump administration's war on DEI has also had a disparate impact on Black women who were government employees. Shocker. According to a lawyer representing fired federal employees suing the government, quote, "We have observed approximately 90% of the workers targeted for terminations due to a perceived association with diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are women or non-binary." Bloomberg found that the share of Black women working in the federal government shrank by 33% in the past year. But let's be clear about something. This is not just an issue with federal government. Andre Perry, senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, told Bloomberg that data shows minorities are the first to be put out of work during economic downturns. Duh. Perry breaks down how it all coalesces. Quote, "The layoffs at the federal level where Black people are more represented, the impacts of the tariffs, particularly on small businesses that hire Black women, and the overall use of DEI as a slur, which may be contributing to a lack of hiring of Black women, all of these factors are probably at play." I'd like to bring in Angela Hanks, former Associate Director of External Affairs at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who is now the Chief of Policy Programs at the Century Foundation.
She would have to have another job because Elon Musk came through and destroyed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You know, that was the bureau that made sure that companies and banks wasn't robbing the consumers. That was the corporation that got back over $211 billion back into the consumers' purse, bank accounts, and pockets. And that has been destroyed under Elon Musk, because they would have been the ones who were overseeing Elon Musk you doing businesses where he would receive tender directly from the consumers. So why did he want that taken away? Who knows? But it has been taken away, and big banks are allowed to steal money from you, like they had to. Who was it? Wells Fargo, of course, who was acting as if they would give you some. Monitor your credit and your report to make sure no one was going into uh, uh, stealing your information, and they charged $10 a pop for that, and they had so many people signed up for that that didn't even know that that was one of the many fees that they were taking out. And on top of it, not only did they sign you up for it, they didn't do what they said they were going to do to the people who knew they were signed up for it. And the Consumer Financial the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was the one who got that money back in the consumer's pocket from Wells Fargo. Some people didn't even know why they were getting this money. They are no more. So this young lady works somewhere else. Let's let us continue.
At the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who play. I'd like to bring in Angela Hanks, former Associate Director of External Affairs at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who is now the Chief of Policy Programs at the Century Foundation, and Angela Laurier, Rachel Laurier, former racial equity investment strategist at JP Morgan Chase and author of Black Capitalist, A Blueprint for What is Possible. Angela, is the rising unemployment rate for Black women a canary in the coal mine for the larger economic picture?
Thanks so much, Charles. I couldn't have put it better myself. I think that's exactly right. As you mentioned, there are the attacks on federal workers that are disproportionately affecting Black women. Black women make up about 12% of the federal workforce compared to 7% of the broader labor market. And so attacks on federal workers will disproportionately impact Black women. And that's not the only thing that's causing an over 6% unemployment rate for Black women. As you said, we often see with recessions, with the Great Recession and with others, that Black women truly are the canaries in the coal mine. We are, as the adage goes, last hired, first fired. And so when you see Black women's unemployment ticking up, and it's both concerning because we want Black women to do well in this economy, but it's also concerning because we know that other workers are not far behind.
Rachel Laurier, we're going.
And guys, this is why DEI and things like that is important, because if you just leave people to their own, they will hire and promote people not based on merit, but based on comfort and familiarity.
Of course.
And when you have a country of mostly white men,
that is the whole reason why DEI is necessary. What's necessary? So you're preaching to the choir, but that shows you how uncomfortable, how bad off that some people want to see non-white people. We still are living in America. They want to make America great again. This is what some people consider the greatness of America. That you can be educated enough for the position. You now another Project 2025 prediction is being fulfilled. Anybody who's working in the federal government has to basically do a 45-47 has to pass a 45-47 loyalty test. If you were over here, I told you about this. And now this is where we are. After all of these people were fired from the federal government, the ones that they are bringing back have to pass a loyalty test to 45 an individual. Let's continue. And their agenda. You don't have to go to work and do your job. You have to go to work and do his agenda.
At the head of companies or corporations, they would likely just hire or promote white men because they just tend to be more familiar with them, obviously. And right, I say that to say it's not always about racism to other groups, but simply people have biases, right? And for example, a study was shown that DEI benefited white women the most because, of course, when given a choice, these white men who are ahead of the majority ahead of corporations and companies, when they felt they had to select a person that maybe wasn't another white man, they felt most comfortable with a white woman, obviously. And then there's the other side of that coin, that when people hear these disgusting comments, DEI hires and DEI this and that, and using it as a slur, it starts to wear and work on people. People who run companies are human, and they get propaganda like anyone else.
Get that right for the record, all right? Outside of the cuts to the federal government, what do you see is driving this very, very alarming trend?
Yeah, I think what's really important to keep in context is the targeted attack on disparate impact liability. Oftentimes the case now, you have disparate impact analysis being used within corporations as a way to really kind of check corporate behaviors when it comes to hiring, retention, recruitment, termination, and even promotions of employee bases. And now we're in a moment where there's kind of a loosening of that. And so Black women are feeling the effects of that now as companies feel more emboldened to loosen their regulation.
Also, the desperate impact was also pointed out in 45, 47, clawing back on your right to sue your employer for discrimination. That was one of the key things that they wanted to eliminate. Okay, so if you were over here, you already know this. I played, who was it? The Defiant Lawyers. He explained the climb back of our civil rights, and desperate impact was the head thing that 45, 47 wanted to get rid of. That don't include how drunk somebody was last night. So some people may not be able to retain that was also played over here, putting the pieces of real life together. Let's continue.
Around kind of keeping their practices lawful and just. And so we see that. And I think at the anthropological level, the social and kind of cultural responses to this too, is women are asking, what do I do now in anticipation for what could come, as they think about just the precarity that really informs the moment that they're in. And so some of that is pivoting into new opportunities, taking on more kind of technical skill sets to really create some kind of fortress of protection around themselves. But the irony is that, in these spaces, you're trying to create yourself to be indispensable to the organizations that you're a part of. But we see a kind of strategic agenda that's really promoting the dispensability of Black women and ultimately other protected classes in the future.
You use the term disparate impact really quickly. For those people who do not know what that actually means, could you just explain that and why it's important?
Yeah, so disparate impact, to kind of contextualize it, it's really kind of checking corporate behaviors and actions that may at the surface level seem lawful, but have kind of a really kind of unintentional or intentional impact that's greater for particular groups of people and particular demographics, and create a sense of vulnerability, especially within those demographics.
Now, Angela, a 2023 BLS data shows that 40% of Black women work in education and health services. The Trump administration has gutted the education department, and the one big beautiful bill that's currently being debated or read on the Senate floor rather is projected to hurt rural hospitals. Could we see these numbers get worse for Black women and unemployment?
I think the reconciliation bill that's on the Senate floor right now poses a threat to the entire economy, but I'll talk a little bit about what I think it means for Black women. So as you mentioned, it both threatens Black women's unemployment by making major cuts in education and healthcare. It kicks 17 million people off of their healthcare. We found out from the Congressional Budget Office yesterday. And some of those people who are being kicked off of their health insurance are Black women. So it's not only Black women workers who will suffer as rural hospitals are closed, as health cuts are implemented, but it's also Black women as recipients of health care who will be harmed by cuts to Medicaid, cuts to the Affordable Care Act. It is very difficult to imagine a situation where any of us can be our best selves at work or can hold a job if we are struggling with cancer treatment payments that we can't afford, if we are not checking our own health, if we have children who have asthma, who need specific care. And so it is both the cuts to employment, but it's also the cuts to health, education, food that will make people sicker, less healthy, and less able to go to work.
I want to stay with you, Angela, just for a quick second. We know that Black...
Okay, so this link is in my description box. I hope you guys avail yourself to the remainder of this. I wanted to bring this to you real quick. D185, thank you for being here. And yes, that golden dome, you see that golden dome was under some pressure when it really had to put in work. Rockwell Speaks, thank you for your donations. I'm glad that you know that the only goal I have is to, you know, expose you to something that you may not have heard that is important to you and how you live your life. Shout out to the supporters, the Cutie Pies, the Very Carry. Thank you for upping your membership. I greatly appreciate you. ODS Grand Rising, the K-Fit Grand Rising. Okay, let me see. The calculated numbers say these analytics numbers, that is not a field I just don't understand. They calculate the numbers. I say these analytics numbers, that's a field I just don't understand. Now, they have calculated the number of people who were going to lose their health insurance. It went from, that's why I was saying between 13 and 17,000 people are expected. First, it was a hard 17. Then it went down to 13. Oh, no, it's more like 10. We're talking about millions of people losing their health care, and they're trying to tell you, oh no, it's more closer to 10 million people. Like, don't exaggerate. It's only 10 million people. So, we're right back where we started from in the beginning at 17 million people are expected to lose their Medicaid. Did I hear a sloppy fat bitch up on King Roman's news channel when I watched the replay brag about having Medicaid? A bitch bragging about having Medicaid and no two front teeth in her mouth? A bitch who brag about being on Medicaid, but don't use Medicaid to get her two front teeth thrown back in her mouth, or, well, not two front teeth, to get some dentures or implants, as another lying bitch want to say she got off of her Medicaid insurance. Can she lie and say that Medicaid gave her some implants as well? What's going on around this bitch? The same funky fat bitch who sat up here and espoused all the greatness of 45, 47 during the election cycle, who knows she didn't get up off her swollen leg, fucking ham hock, water-borne legs to go to a voting booth to vote for anybody. But sitting up here call themselves bragging about their Medicaid. See, it's the ignorance that walks around here. It's the ignorance. Okay, let me continue. Hey, Rachel. Uh, Good to see you. Okay, so there's I talked about the wedding. I know I'm gonna get off of here, and it's gonna be something else I wanted to talk about. Now, uh, they have been on the House floor since last night. Yeah, they have given them 20 hours to discuss the bill. And one of the first thing they did was read all 900 and some pages of the bill. So no senators can go vote for it and then turn back around and say, "Oh, I didn't know that was in the bill," like the Congress people are doing. They signed. They voted for the bill, and then when it has been dispelled about all of the bullshit that is in the bill, that they want to act as if, "Oh, I didn't approve that. I didn't know that was in the bill. I wouldn't have signed on to the bill. I would have asked for changes. You wouldn't have did a motherfucking thing. You just mad because before the bill was fully passed and sent by the Senate and sent back to you, that it was found out all the fucked up shit that was in the bill." So we're not gonna play that. They have been on talking about the big nasty bill. Hey, Nappy Child, grand rising to you. Yes, I'm live. Dang, I was a little late, but I am. I plan to be back on schedule. I planned to be back on schedule last week, but something uh, came up. Something came up the whole of last week. So now let's look at the bullshit that's going on. The muskrat is in his feelings and obviously high as a motherfucking kite again, because the muskrat has come out trying to destroy the big beautiful bill. And all of what he's saying is a bunch of bullshit. The muskrat, you were the one who was dancing on the stage with a, what was it? What did they call that? A chainsaw, talking about taking people's jobs. But now he's complaining about the big beautiful bill because they have cut out things that would benefit his welfare, his government welfare, having as the EV credits that they were giving. They have cut out the EV credits, so he's mad about it, and now he's trying to position himself as if the big beautiful bill will cut so many jobs. He's warning you. Is it going to cut more jobs than you cut? You know those jobs that you overcut, that they had to turn around and scramble to get people back in those jobs, like the people who were over our nuclear arsenals. Are they going to cut that many jobs, bitch? So let's see what Elon Musk is uh faking his funk about. If you haven't heard about it, let me share my screen with you. Elon goes scorch earth. I guess he does go scorch earth because he's a whole demon. Elon goes scorch earth and tries to kill Trump's term.
Friends who he had a falling out with just came out and did a rare interview in which he describes Elon Musk's erratic behavior and says he thinks it will end the Trump administration, or at least Elon Musk will relentlessly continue to pounce on the admin, every single policy they pass, every single thing they advocate for, until he achieves his own end. I found this to be an incredibly interesting take, especially after Elon Musk has spent not only all month just attacking Donald Trump and the admin, but over the past 24 hours, he's continued to escalate. Just yesterday, Elon Musk said this: the latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America. and cause immense strategic harm to our country. The idea that Elon Musk cares about workers' rights is hilarious, but utterly insane and destructive, he says. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. This is likely because he's mad certain EV mandates were taken out of the bill in a retaliatory manner after Donald Trump got mad at Elon Musk. I want to break down exactly how Elon could hit Trump where it hurts, but let's start off with this clip of Bernie Sanders explaining exactly how Elon Musk owns more wealth than like the vast majority of the country combined.
We have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of this country. That's just a fact. One man, Mr. Musk, owning more wealth than the bottom 52% of American families. The top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. You got CEOs of large corporations making 350 times what their workers make. And meanwhile, in this richest country in the history of the world, working class people are getting decimated. Today, and again, we don't talk about it in Congress for reasons that I hope I can get into.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it in the corporate media. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Every single day is a struggle. How you feed the kids, rents, cost of housing in America off the charts, healthcare off the charts. My mother is ill. How do I afford prescription drugs? If you don't have $1,000, your car breaks down. How do you get to work? If you don't get to work, you get fired. If you get fired, your whole life is disrupted.
How much different is that than past generations?
It's worse now, Joe.
What do you attribute that to?
Decades-old attacks on the working class of this country. I attribute it to horrific trade agreements, which have allowed corporate America to throw millions of workers out on the street and move to China, Mexico, and other low-wage countries. I attribute it to a corrupt political system in which billionaires have significant control over both political parties. The national minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. So you got millions of workers today, making 10, 12, 13 bucks an hour. How do people survive on 13 bucks an hour? When we were kids, or at least when I was a kid, you worked for a large company. You had something called a defined benefit pension plan. You work for me for 30 years. When you retire, you're going to get X hundreds of dollars a week. That's long gone. Corporations have gotten rid of that. Half of older workers in America have nothing in the bank when they face retirement. So I think, to answer your question, I think you got a rigged system controlled economically and politically by very, very wealthy and powerful people who could care less for working families. Now, I don't want to romanticize the old days because that would not be true. But there used to be a kind of a culture of
I disagree with him there. It's not that they could care less. It's they could not. They couldn't care less. Not they could care less. If they could care less, it means that they care. They have some type of caring, but they don't care at all. So they couldn't care less because they care the less that they can. There's no less beyond what they're caring now. They couldn't care less.
Was a boss and I ran a factory. I had a little bit of concern for you. In general, I would say, I know your wife, how's your mom doing and all that stuff. That's gone. You got these companies that are owned by other companies that are owned by supranational, huge conglomerates own the bloody world. And these guys don't give a damn about the needs of working people. So I would say that the economy becomes less and less personal. I have no, you're my worker. I have no care about you because right now I'm owned by an international who doesn't know that you exist.
And there's also a diffusion of responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's not even in your hands.
I'm really glad that Bernie Sanders is entering these places like the Joe Rogan podcast and talking about policies that we believe in, explaining that.
You know what? What I'm really kind of sick of. I'm sick of everybody acting like we need to reach Joe Rogan. I guess because he has a large audience. I'm sick of people being led by other people that it is important for us to reach Joe Rogan, who's obviously a fucking meathead, who's out here spewing propaganda and meathead bullshit. Why I'm glad people are going to Joe Rogan. I'm sad that people have to go to Joe Rogan, a whole dummy. Let's continue.
Elon Musk owns a disproportionate amount of wealth, and when he leveraged that wealth to buy X, turn X into a propaganda machine, I guess it was Twitter when he bought it, and then he used that wealth to get Trump elected, we saw 40 different regulatory investigations in Elon Musk's companies paused or slow walked or dropped. He benefits from this corruption directly. Really quickly, I'm 22 years old, so I'm not supposed to.
Okay, let's get back to the story, get past his commercial. Please go over and check out this link, Adam Mokular. All of my videos are in the description box.
But to continue, quote, he's going to do everything to damage the president. Former Musk friend on the Trump fallout. In a rare interview after the Musk-Trump row, Silicon Valley founder Philip Lowe predicts his former friend will seek retaliation against the president. Dr. Philip Lowe made a wild post a few months back that read this: I have known Elon Musk at a deep level for 14 years, well before he was a household name. We used to text frequently. He would come to my birthday party, invite me to his parties. He would tell me everything about his women problems. As sons of highly accomplished men who married Venuses, were violent and lost their fortunes, and who were bullied in high school, we had a number of things in common most people cannot relate to. We would hang out together in LA. He then says, Elon is not a Nazi per se. He is something much better or much worse, depending on how you look at it. Nazis believed that an entire race was above everyone else. Elon believes that he is above everyone else. He used to think he worked on the most important problems. When I first met him, he did not presume to be a technical person. He would be the first to say that he lacked the expertise. That happened later. Now he believes he has all of the solutions. He then goes on to explain how all this talk about getting to Mars to maintain the light of consciousness or talk about free speech absolutism is actually BS. Elon knowingly feeds people to manipulate them. Everything Elon does is about acquiring and consolidating power. That's why he likes far-right parties. And you can see this in the way he kind of like breeds, I guess you could say, children en masse. It's very odd. So this friend...
And you can also see this in the way that he has got access to every database in the American government via dummy, giving him all access. And this access to all of this information only helps him as with his Grok AI. See, he got a hold of data that no other AI creator has had the opportunity to amass. All of this data, all the way to our United States Treasury. And now it's has he been gone 1 month, and everybody going to try to pretend like Elon Musk wasn't a thing in this presidency? Everybody memory has been wiped. Well, what is that? Men in Black came through and flashed that little stick in front of everybody's eyes, and they forgot all of the people who have lost their jobs, all of the investigation that have been stopped, where he would have been had to defend the shit that he's doing, as far as people going to his companies being called niggas every day out in the open like it's their fucking first name. All of this type of shit, all of the investigations into his self-driving cars that have killed several people, and now there's no more investigations about this type of shit. Yes, okay. Men in Black just flashed their light. We don't remember any of that. Did that happen? Was I dreaming? Did that really happen? Was Elon Musk really a thing? Yes, he really was a thing working in the government to get the results that he wanted for himself. Fuck you and fuck how you living, bitch. Fuck all of y'all. I'm living good. I got between 14 and 100 kids to take care of. I'm thinking about me and mine.
And came out yesterday with a new post. Philip Lowe, an award-winning neuroscientist who partnered with the late legendary cosmologist Stephen Hawking as a test subject, learned the hard way in 2020 that Elon Musk was erratic as hell. Over a long hour interview, Lowe weaves something of a psychological portrait of his former advisor, casting him as obsessive, prone to seeking revenge. This is talking about Elon Musk, power hungry, and in constant search of dominance. He suggested Musk aims to explore every available avenue to establish competition with and ultimately overshadow bitter rivals. Lowe has known him for 14 years, but doesn't believe Musk has matured over time, and he's convinced he never will. Though the two continued to speak for years after Lowe fired him, Lowe felt that Musk carried a grudge and their bond was permanently altered. It finally snapped in January when Lowe joined other critics in accusing the social media platform of performing Nazi salutes. That's the post that I just read. I've had my share of blowouts with Elon over the years, Lowe told Politico in a rare interview. Knowing Elon the way I know him, I do think he's going to do everything to damage the president. I mean, if he began to donate to Democrats, I think Trump would retaliate by stripping away contracts, and then we'd see the downfall of potentially both heading into 2028.
Okay, let me say this. If he begins to donate to Democrats and they accept it, they are unelectable, in my opinion. If they turn around and take money from Elon Musk when they know Elon Musk doesn't care about the party, doesn't care about the agenda of the Democrats, and only cares to get back at Republicans who he helped get into office, I wish a Democrat would take money from him. Let's talk about. I don't want to say his name wrong because he had to chin check Chris Cuomo, the young Democrat who won the position against not Chris Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo for the New York mayor position. He did everything right, and they are dragging him. The full racism is coming out. It's unmasked, unashamed. They are coming after him for being a Muslim. They said 9/11 will soon be happening in New York City again. So they are very comfortable at this point of being overtly racist. Are we clear on that? And did he take money from Elon Musk? No, because wasn't nobody paying attention. Oh, please. He's not going anywhere. Oh, please. Oh, please. And then they turned around and they found out, what? And it's what was disappointing, most disappointing about that race. But you may be able to understand it. Most black people voted for Cuomo in that runoff. Uh, that was the only race of people that that Como won with was black people. I guess if you have one accused SAer in there, you may as well have Como in there. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? But then you got to think, this is New York City. You got to think both ways. Hey, Truth and Reason. Hey, Leonard. You got to think both ways. This is New York City. Me and my husband was talking about this. We was like, it's like weird how all of these people, all of these Arabs come over here and they are owning everything. They own everything in the hood. They own all these stores. They come over here and they amass. They own things in America. And in the meantime, there's no way that a black businessman could get to ownership of something in their own neighborhood as easily as people from other lands are able to come over here and own things in the hood. The hood spends a lot of money. I don't give a fuck if it is in the hood. Why do you think they want us to be in the hood? Because they make a lot of money. Let's keep it a buck. So now you're in New York City, and these are the people who are owning a lot of the places where you go. How are you treated as black people by these people? So you see, there's a double-edged sword there, and I can say I do understand why there is some pushback. So if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it all. Let's talk about how how the native black people are treated by every other race. Everybody wants to be all inclusive, all this, all that, but you don't want to talk about what you need to improve with your own people either. But everybody always want us to look inwards and see what we need to do to improve. And it's our fault that y'all treat us that way. That's all. That's all. Like crap. Exactly. The Asians owners, the Arab owners, and they are able to come over here and get tax breaks, business loans, non-interest loans. If they stay in business for 5 years, they don't have to repay loans. All of this type of shit. And we have built this nation, and we can't get a motherfucking a loan to buy a used car for $3,000 or some shit, much less a fucking business. You can bank at a bank, and it means absolutely nothing to them. It means absolutely nothing to a bank. But they have all of this opportunity for people who are just setting their feet on the soil. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be that many more. Well, there will be more, but they just won't be Hispanic. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let me see what happened. Truth. I was stationed overseas. America could not acquire property in their country. You ain't said nothing but a word. You ain't said nothing but a word. But they'll let them own stuff in the hoods and this, that, and the other, where they're making plenty of money off of the people in the hood. Let's not pretend how the black dollar is well spent. You be hard pressed to find some saved black dollars, but they definitely gonna spend that black dollar. Okay, so what else do I have? Uh, that link is in my description box. Please avail yourself to it. Now, let's talk about Rand Paul. He is also against the big, beautiful bill, and 4547 is upset about it. Let's see what Rand Paul had to say in this 20-hour Senate debate on the bill. Jack Cochinella. I often watch him. Please go over there and check him out as well.
In deciding whether to vote for the big, not so beautiful bill, I've asked a very specific question. Will the deficit be more or less next year? The answer, without question, is this bill will grow the deficit. The federal government has fancy formulas and hundreds of wonky accountants who inform us of their projections over 10 years. But you often can't trust these projections. In an excellent piece written by the Foundation for Economics and Education entitled "The CBO's Projections Are Worse Than Useless," Eric Schuler writes, "Long-term analysis and language is commonplace in U.S. national politics, but it achieves no useful outcome. It confuses far more than it clarifies. It does not provide accurate estimates of long-term results. It does not improve the average voter's understanding of policy effects. And it gives politicians a means to claim they are being fiscally responsible without actually ever exercising any prudence whatsoever. Sometimes the predictions are off because a new Congress is elected and changes the law. Eric Schuler writes that for any projection of a 10-year budget to be accurate, the Congressional Budget Office has to assume that the law won't change for 10 years, even as most of the politicians that make the laws risk being replaced every 2 years, and all of them advocate for changes of one stripe or another. Schuler states that few in Washington will admit Congress has a knack for starting any proposed cuts in the later years while letting spending run wild in the immediate future. Sometimes these predictions are off by $1 trillion or so because the economy grew more slowly or more quickly than anticipated. Bruce Thompson, a former Senate aide and Assistant Secretary of Treasury, writes, "The Congressional Budget Office miscalculated the deficit last year by $1 trillion. So in deciding whether to vote for any big, monstrous bill, it helps to ask the right question. To me, the most pertinent question is, how will the bill affect the deficit in the next year? Currently, our deficit is estimated to be a little under $2 trillion this year. What will happen to the debt in 2026 if this bill passes? Well, using the math most favorable to the supporters of the bill, referred to as the policy baseline, the deficit in 2026 will still be $270 billion more than this year. So even using the math, even using the formulas that the supporters of the bill like, the deficit will grow by $270 billion next year. That's just not good if you profess to be fiscally conservative. Why will the deficit grow next year? Well, even if you argue that the 2017 tax cuts don't need to be counted in the calculation at all, the new tax cuts add up to $234 billion to the debt next year. In addition, the big not so beautiful bill adds new spending of over $500 billion, military, border, agricultural subsidies, etc. That spending is front loaded and will be spent in the first 4 years of the 10-year window. Legislative spending is one of the few items in the bill that is exact. It isn't estimated. If they say they'll spend $500 billion, they're going to spend $500 billion, all in the first few years. So in order not to add to the deficit, the BBB, the big not so beautiful bill, has to have corresponding spending cuts to counter all the new spending. Unfortunately, the spending cuts are backloaded to the final 5 years of the 10-year window, when several tax cuts expire and the spending increases are finished. In addition, elections occur every 2 years and could easily wipe out any perceived savings that might occur in the later years. The only real certainty in this budget drama are the budget years coming in the immediate future.
I in no way consider myself.
Okay, and while we are talking about budget, you notice that the Department of Defense has not given their itemized budget out. So we are just going to act like this strike that we did over in Iran was free. We're going to act like all of these bombs that we have been giving Israel are free. The reason why they said that Israel most likely back down was the expense that it cost. That Iron Dome that they had that is worked so well. Well, it costs money to operate that Iron Dome. They said it costs about $400 million for one of those Iron Domes to shoot down just one of the incoming missiles. Now, we do know that Iran introduced a new missile, which was a single missile that then projectiled out 16 more missiles. So this Iron Dome, they said it was exhausting the Iron Dome to work. The Iron Dome worked off of money for munitions that they used to shoot down these things. So while now I'm going back to V185. All of this, America is going to create a golden dome. And so understand that any fucking golden dome is going to cost us a lot of money, more money going where? Into the military. They have not completed their budget. That is, I think, 2 months overdue, and they are asking for $1 trillion in this budget, but they cannot even tell you where they're spending the money at. Has anybody asked what the calculated cost of this? Oh, you're insulting our pilots who drove 36 hours and then dropped a bomb. How much did that cost us? And was it necessary for us to even go over there anyway? Because Israel decided to strike them. At what cost was it to us? Let me get to where. So 4547 heard that, and he went on one of his. When does this guy sleep? During the day? When does he sleep? Here we go.
Threats once again, and we can see that right here. Trump wrote on Truth Social, for all cost-cutting Republicans, of which I am one, remember, you still have to get re-elected. Don't go too crazy. We will make it all up times 10 with growth more than ever before. So the threats of primaries are really coming out strong for Donald Trump. This is all he has left. This is cult to rely on to get his terrible agenda across the finish line. And there still is a possibility that more Republicans come out against this agenda.
From Oregon and our other budget chairs, ranking members from previous years, because this is really important. Mr. President, there are some things you can't change with legislation, despite what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle seem to believe. For example, 1 + 1 is 2. And while $1 trillion might have a lot of zeros in it, it is, in fact, a much, much bigger number. Now, that might sound obvious, but apparently my colleagues across the aisle need a little reminder, because right now, Republicans are pretending not to get it. It is almost beyond belief, and it is certainly beyond common sense. After years of complaining about the debt, in fact, at the same time they're talking about how we need to address the debt, Republicans now are suddenly pretending they don't know how to count. Republicans are suddenly pretending the parliamentarian doesn't exist if they don't talk to her. Republicans are suddenly pretending that precedent doesn't exist if they just fake amnesia, and that norms and consequences for breaking them will just disappear if they wish it away.
Parliamentarian doesn't exist if they ignore her and don't talk to her. The parliamentarian has come out and said that 2 things in this big beautiful bill are unconstitutional and they can't vote for them, and they are mad about it. I'll find that.
Really hard. My preschool students had more common sense. Republicans should know if they replace math with magic, if they tear up the Senate process, if they blow off the Senate parliamentarian, that bill will come due. And not just the bill for $4 trillion blown on tax cuts for billionaires and corporations. The bill will also come due for trashing this Senate process and precedent when Republicans are no longer in the majority. Mr. President, if Republicans are serious about plowing forward with rewriting or ignoring Senate procedure and the laws of mathematics, I just ask, spare me the empty excuses. Spare me the explanations that totally ignore the reality of what you are doing. I mean, do they really think it washes away everything to say, oh, it's fine to break the process in half because we say it's fine? Oh, it's fine. We have the authority to ignore math. Give me a break. To every Republican who really thinks that is a convincing argument, to anyone who thinks we can is just an acceptable rationale for going nuclear and pretending the most expensive bill in the history of our country can be paid for by some magic bean counting, here is my challenge to you. Go back home and try that game with your constituents. Tell them, it's okay, yes, the debt's going to be $4 trillion, higher 10 years from now, that's true, but it's fine. We voted on it, and we get to say $1 trillion is actually 0. Go ahead, see how that works for you. And you may as well tell them you are voting against gravity next, because that's just as reasonable. And don't forget, when you tell your families back home that trillions of dollars in tax cuts for billionaires and companies are free because you waved a wand or you said some magic words, don't forget to tell them those are just tax cuts for the billionaires, not for working families. Don't forget to tell the folks back home, yeah, I voted to say $1 trillion is nothing, but we still need to kick people off of their health care. That's just too expensive. We still need to close those hospitals. We have to cut costs, and we still have to kick people off SNAP because the debt is out of control. And don't forget to mention that, no, we can't afford childcare. We can't afford paid family leave. We can't afford to solve your problems. Magic math is apparently just for billionaires. You all are getting less. Please, Republicans, send that message to your constituents. Just see how it goes over. Because you can fool yourself, but you are not going to fool the American people. They don't get to balance their budget with magic math. They don't.
I also told you what Mitch McConnell, the senator from one of the poorest states, Kentucky, had to say about the Medicare cuts. He said that the Medicaid cuts. He said that as far as the Medicaid cuts and people are getting upset about them, hey, viewers of you, you're going to have to tell them they're going to have to get over it. That's what Mitch McConnell said, that you must tell your constituents to pass this bill. The same Mitch McConnell who said even after 47 was impeached in his first term for the second time, Mitch McConnell did not want to throw him out of the office because he felt that it would be better. It would be better if the courts dealt with all of the things that they impeached him for, all of the illegal things that he had done in his term to get impeached a second time instead of throwing him out of office. He said it'd be better if the courts dealt with him. And unfortunately, they drug their feet in these investigations of him, and the courts, they right when they were about to sentence him for those 43 felonies that he was found guilty of, it was election time again. It takes. This is madness. This madness has really got to stop. So let's see what the Politarian had to say about, and now they want to ignore her. They want to pretend like, oh no, that never happened. There are no rules. We get to do whatever we want to do. The Politarian had to say about this. Is this it? Parliamentarian. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. That's not it. Hold on. Let me find it. It's up here. Here we go.
What? Man, I'm telling you, I was not looking forward to my weekend.
Yeah, could you have had the hot weather on the weekend and the rain during the week?
Yeah.
Fourth deadline.
Here's part of what he said.
This is the ultimate codification of our agenda to, very simply, a phrase that's been used pretty well by me over the last 10 years, but maybe even before that, make America great again. Very simple, make America great again. You know, I shouldn't say this, but we don't want to have grandstanders where one or two people raise their vote. We don't know. And they do it to grandstand, that's all. Not good people. They know who I am, who I'm talking about. I call them.
We don't want to have one or two people stand up and vote against the bill because they want to make themselves important. No, because they don't. Whatever. Let's continue.
But we don't need grandstanders.
Meanwhile, some House Republicans are fuming over the Senate parliamentarians' decision to take an axe to certain Medicare measures.
Elizabeth McDonough, the Senate parliamentarian, ruled that the Senate's cap on healthcare provider taxes violates what's called the Byrd Rule. The Byrd Rule governs what bills can be passed with a simple majority and avoid a filibuster.
The cap would have sparked billions in savings to make up for Trump's tax cuts. McDonough also asked other key aspects of the bill related to education and regulations on gun suppressors and easily concealable firearms. Congressman Greg Steube wrote on X, "How is it that an unelected swamp bureaucrat who was appointed by Harry Reid over a decade ago gets to decide what can and cannot go in President Trump's one big, beautiful bill? It is time for our elected leaders to take back control. J.D. Vance should overrule the parliamentarian and let the will of the people, not some staffer hiding behind Senate procedure, determine the future of this country."
Democratic senator.
So they don't want to follow their own procedures. They act as if this is something brand new. And by golly, we are breaking all other norms. So, hey, why follow our own procedures? Why even follow our own rules and procedures? Okay, all of the links that I play, they are in the description box. Avail yourself to them if you didn't know about this. So maybe that's why they're up filibustering in the Senate right now. Maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing in the Senate right now. Okay, and one last little a tidbit that I found quite interesting. Um, no, now we know that President Obama, they called him the what did they call him? The deporter in chief, because he had deported more people than anyone else. He didn't put on a show. He didn't change any rules. He didn't try to. He wasn't standing outside of courtrooms and all of this stuff. He just put his head down, and they did the work, and they deported more people uh, than anyone. So we know that 45, 47 hates to see that he is inadequate behind uh, the black Barack Hussein, as he loved to say, Obama. So this is some of the things that you may not have heard that 45, 47 administration is doing to not be behind the deportations of Barack Obama, who did them legally, and who you never heard of any children being harmed or in cages or separated from their parents. Did you guys know about this little deportation trip?
Mass deportation efforts, everyone needs to hear this story. According to the Miami Herald, federal agents are now on the lookout for undocumented immigrants to deport by paying a visit to the offices of a state-funded children's shelter in the Florida Keys. The agents are literally sitting in the parking lot staking out the office building. Why? Because they're assuming that the parents of the foster children would come to the office building and they would literally grab them and detain them when they arrive. This program is dedicated to the welfare of families. These federal agents are literally designed to tear them apart. Just take a minute and picture this. You're a child in foster care. You see outside the window, a parent is coming to visit you. And as that parent's walking into the building, federal agents grab the parent, detain them, and you never see that parent again because that parent's now been deported. That's the reality that Florida children may now have to live in. Spread the word to more people.
Nobody like Florida. Oh, let's talk about the alligator alley of it all. Did you guys hear about the alligator Alcatraz? Okay. Mitch, one who's using Medicare dollars with all his health. Mitch, the one who's using up Medicare dollars with all of his health issues. Yes. You notice how his speech changed when he speaks to his supporters? And my speech would change when I spoke back to him. You notice how he has no speech at certain times where he stands up there and he looks like a deer looking in headlights, because at that moment he's standing up in front of a crowd, in front of press, and in front of an audience. He's, you know how babies can't speak while they're babies be playing around, and then they'll stop and they'll be still because they're pissing in their diapers. And this who said that people who are about to lose their health insurance in his poor ass state should just get used to it. Just get used to it. Now, Mitch McConnell, who has been in Congress long more years than he had memory of being in Congress, has a, what do they call it, a golden health insurance program given to him because he has spent more than 2 terms in Congress for life. He has one of the best healthcare insurance. And this is what he has to say about his people getting used to getting kicked off of Medicaid because they're poor. That's the irony of this. Child, hey Choreo, Grand Rising. Okay, so uh, I think that's all. Now I'm gonna drop this link in here because I talked about while they have not ruled, they said that they're gonna rule on birthright citizenship in the Supreme Court's next term. So I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. You got go over to the Defiant Lawyer Network, and he is. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. He is gonna tell you why you, as a black person, should take a second look at what they're trying to pull about this birthright citizenship, um, and how it will affect you and how you live your life. That's all I'm here. The Civil Rights Attorney Legal Breakdown. The Defiant Lawyers Network is the channel. It will be in my description box. Let me play a little of this. And so,
among other things, this order says that children born in the United States.
Hold on. Too fast.
So I want to break all this down for you so that you can understand what happened, what it means, and why this case should deeply concern, even terrify anyone who still believes in democracy and freedom. Now, here's how it all started. Trump signed Executive Order 14092. Among other things, this order says that children born in the United States to undocumented immigrants, or even people here on temporary visas, those children are not U.S. citizens. He claimed that those children are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, so they don't qualify for birthright citizenship under the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now pause for a second, take a deep breath. That is a direct attack on one of the most important Supreme Court cases in American history. I've covered this case several times in previous videos. It is the case of the United States versus Wong Kim Ark, and it was decided way back.
So that was one of the other things that I forgot. I thought that this birthright citizenship was because of the Chinese guy who was born over here. I thought that is why the case was brought to court, because they wanted to deport how they had the Chinese over here building the railroads or whatever, and they had a child, and this is the case that sparked the birthright citizenship. But your president, let's continue.
Act in 1898. And it made it very clear, crystal clear, that if a person or child is born on American soil, that child is a citizen, unless the child's parents are foreign diplomats or aliens of a hostile nation. That's it. But Trump ignored that. And several families that were impacted by his executive order sued. And they sued immediately because they had to. That executive order was due to go into effect pretty quickly. So here's what happened next. Several district courts, federal district courts, reviewed Trump's executive order, and they blocked it. And they blocked it with what are called nationwide or universal injunctions. And that means the courts didn't just protect the people who filed the lawsuit, but they stopped the executive order from taking effect anywhere in the country. This is a legal tool used in high state cases. It's been used to stop.
However, the Supreme Court struck this down, which is if it is true for if birthright citizenship is can be halted for the people who bring the case, why does everyone who have birthright citizenship protection have to go to the courts for it to protect them? Your Supreme Court, oh my God. This bullshit that's going on in this government. You better pay attention because you may be next. So let me play a little bit more.
Immigration bans, discriminatory policies, and yes, even conservative groups have used it during the Obamas or Biden's presidency. In this case, the appellate court upheld those injunctions. So Trump took his case.
Mexapressone is the abortion drug that they went down to Texas to get a nationwide ban on the Mexapressone drug. They call it the abortion drug, but now all of a sudden they are overruling nationwide injunctions, but not on birth control that they want to characterize as something like the morning after pill. Let's continue.
To the Supreme Court. But here's what's wild, folks. He didn't ask the court to rule on whether his executive order is unconstitutional. Instead, he asked them to rule that nationwide injunctions are unconstitutional. So he avoided the bigger issue on purpose. And that was because he knew that his executive order was likely unconstitutional because of the Wong Kim Ark case. Yet what did the Supreme Court actually decide and not decide in this case? But to answer that question, let's go over and read a little bit of the case. So right at the very top, highlighted, it says, the application do not raise, and thus we do not address the question whether the executive order violates the Citizenship Clause or Nationality Act.
You know what? The Supreme Court does not have to take every case that is presented to them. I am sick of this Supreme Court. I'm very sick of this Supreme Court. That's all I have to say about that. Go over there and check out the rest of that decision. It's just, I'm so sick of them. It's just mind-boggling. So, Rachel, him being right, bringing right the white South Africans over here shows exactly what this is about. Yes. So, is there anything else that you guys heard? You know, it was just it's always so much going on. And if I don't come live every day, sometimes I was coming live every day and my live would still go 3 and 4 hours just talking about the shit that happened in one day's period. So go over there and check out some of the videos under my description box and some of their other videos, the Midas Touch, Reese Waters, Adam Mokler, the damage report. Let me see what Kyle Kalunsky been up to. Secular Talk with Kyle Kalunsky. I love his commentary. If you haven't gone over there and checked him out, go over there and check him out. Now, this is one thing that I want to talk about a little bit. You know, there were I think she was a state senator from Minneapolis who was her and her husband and her dog. I didn't know they got the dog too. Were shot and killed by a 45, 47 right-wing lunatic that they tried to pretend was a Democrat operative, that they tried to put out. Mike Lee from Utah tried to pretend like this was some unhinged left-wing crockpot when it was actually a full full-blown Republican 45-47 lover who shot and killed this Democrat state senator from Minneapolis and her husband and her dog. And while I don't even think I have heard 45-47 even acknowledge it. He may have, but I don't remember him acknowledging this elected official being shot down like that in her own home. I don't recall anything of that put anything that he said about this in my memory. I'm not saying that he didn't, but I remember I was waiting to hear from him, and a whole lot of other shit was going on, and I could have missed it, but I don't recall him saying anything about how unacceptable this was. So they had the funeral service for her, and who showed up at the service but Joe Biden to pay his respects to this woman. So yeah. Now let's go out with something a little funny. Since I brought up Kyle Kalinske, I don't know if you guys heard about this JD Vance meme that got somebody deported because he had this meme in his phone when he was going through customs, and they turned him right back around and put him on a flight. I forget what country he's from. I forget what country. Norway. He was from Norway. So let's see what happened with him.
Anecdotal stories about how immigration officials and the people at the airport, how they are sort of crossing the line and questioning people in ways that are totally inappropriate and is in contravention of the law. And now, I mean, wait until you hear this story, bro. This is just mind-boggling. A Norwegian tourist, 21 years old, is barred from entering the U.S. after ICE guards find meme showing JD Vance with a bald head on his phone. So this is what we're talking about. That meme, which I'm pretty sure the majority of my audience has saved in their phone. I know I have it in my phone. I know I do. Basically deported from the United States for having a meme making fun of JD Vance. There was a time when I believed that the really evil villain type people, yeah, they're evil villains, but usually they're clever and smart, conniving, Machiavellian. No, what the Trump regime has taught me is that the most evil people also just happen to be the most incompetent and most stupid. Right? And that's what this is. This is what we're witnessing. A Norwegian tourist claims he was harassed and refused entry to the U.S. after immigration officers found a meme of JD Vance on his phone. Mads Mikkelsen, 21, arrived at New Jersey's Newark Airport on June 11th, excited about his holiday, but his plans were thrown in disarray when he was reportedly pulled aside by Border Control and put in a cell. The tourist was then subjected to what he described to Norwegian outlet Nordlys as an abuse of power and harassment. They asked questions about drug trafficking, terrorist plots, and right-wing extremism, totally without reason, he told the outlet. Mr. Mikkelsen claimed the officers then threatened him with a $5,000 fine or 5 years in prison if he refused to give the password to his mobile phone. That's those people need to be fired and charged. The ones who did that. What the fuck is that? The guards reportedly found a meme on the device's camera roll showing U.S. Vice President JD Vance with a bald, egg-shaped head. You went through his fucking pictures, bro? What the fuck? Mikkelsen said after discovering the image, the authorities sent him home to Norway the same day. There's the picture. It's the funny-ass JD Vance meme that we all fucking have. It comes after an Australian writer claimed he was turned away from the U.S. border after being grilled on his views on the Gaza conflict and articles he wrote about pro-Palestine protests. Alistair Kitchen, 33, boarded a flight from Melbourne to New York to visit friends on June 12th. When he was pulled to one side by a Customs and Border Protection officer during a layover in Los Angeles, he was detained for 12 hours at Los Angeles International Airport before being put on a flight back to Melbourne. Mr. Kitchen said he was refused entry to the U.S. because of his political beliefs, but the Department of Homeland Security has since said this is unequivocally false. The writer lived in the U.S. for 6 years before moving back home to Castlemaine in regional Victoria last year, and between 2022 and 2024, he studied at Columbia University. Mr. Kitchen claimed a customs officer told him he was being detained because of his views on the pro-Palestinian rallies that took place on campus at the New York University last year. Quote, I was interrogated about my beliefs on the crisis in Gaza. I told him what I believe. The war is a tragedy in which all parties have blood on their hands, but which can and must come to an immediate end. One party is dominant, and that party can end the death and destruction today. This is right in line with, remember what they did to Hassan Piker? When he tried to come back, they pulled him aside and started grilling him about, what are your thoughts on Hamas? What are your thoughts on Hezbollah? What are your thoughts on the Houthis? And they were literally trying to find an excuse to do what? Detain him? He's a fucking American citizen. Like, these people are...
Okay, so this is what your America is boldly turning into. What are your thoughts on a political issue? The American citizens coming back home to America, people visiting America. You must take a loyalist pledge to 45 and 47 to work in some of these federal jobs that they have gotten rid of people. You must take a loyalty pledge to 45, 47 and his agenda to get jobs now. This is your America. This is what your America is turning into. The Supreme Court playing games with rulings that should be nationwide rulings. If birthright citizenship is good for one, it is good for all. But no, they're saying that every person in America who has parents who have not been born in America must file a case individually. Well, shouldn't 45, 47 had to, if you want to make that rationale, shouldn't he had to make individual executive orders to each person who he wanted to say no longer had birthright citizenship? If they have to file court cases individually, how come he didn't have to individually write executive orders saying who does and does not have birthright citizenship? The bullshit is on its way and it's rolling downhill fast. Choreo Lover, I thank you for being here. Too much power. Church Mouse, Grand Rising to me. A handmaid's tale. I think I'm gonna have to go in there and watch A Handmaid's Tale. I have an idea what it's about, but I've never seen it. Okay, so 45, 47 wouldn't call the governor. I remember that. Now, you said that the vice president attended their services. You mean J.D. Vance, or you mean the former vice president, Nappy Child? I'm curious about that. I just saw the president. Are you saying J.D. Vance visited, or Kamala Harris visited the funeral as well? Not visited, attended at the funeral. Our church mouse is behind in her typing. Okay, I'll check which person it was. Was it J.D. Vance or if it was Harris? Okay, so just a update thus far. What's going on in the world around us? Some real crazy stuff is going on in the world behind us. Let me see. What do you say? How about pass bills instead of the executive orders? How about that? Here's a grand way to run a government. Pass some bills. He's governing via executive order. Okay, so it was not J.D. Vance. It was Vice President Harris. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, and I thank you all for joining me. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Don't be afraid to write in my description box. In my comment section. Hit the like button. I'm glad that you guys were here. Tell a friend who cares about what's going on in the world. And hey, we talking about the news. I was talking to a group of women, and it was an older woman, and she was a reverend. I don't know in what capacity, uh, if she had her own church or was she, how sometimes you would just have female ministers and things like that, but they were calling her Reverend so and so. And she was really concerned about some things. She said, are really concerning me. And I'm kind of worried about this AI thing. I don't know much about it, but it's kind of concerning me. And it was a couple of more things. Then she got to stating about how she's having faith during all of this uh, stuff that is going on with 45, 47, and his executives orders and things like that. And so it's people who teach you to have faith in God. And there's nothing like having faith in God for those of you who actually have faith in God. But you have to understand that God is not going to do for you what you cannot do for yourself. So you sit your ass back and you think that God is going to save you from all of these situations. So if you're in a for example, if you were in an abusive relationship and you know that the abuse is getting worse and worse and worse. Are you just going to sit back and say, well, I believe in God and I'm going to let God handle this situation and get me out of this situation? You keep on believing in God, going to get up and pack your bags for you and walk the fuck out. Or you believe that you gonna be meeting God if you stay there sitting on waiting on God to come pack your bags and find you a place of shelter. So you gonna keep some of you are gonna keep on believing God until you meet your maker. That's all I gotta say about that. And that's all I got to say about that. Be blessed and be safe, everybody. Enjoy your day, everyone. I concur. I concur. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys in the morning. All right. Bye bye.
In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my Ronnie Q. They are rare and they are few who can compare with Ronnie Q. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air. It's time for Ronnie Q.